Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q4 and FY21 earnings conference call of FIAM Industries Limited, hosted by Monarch Networth Capital Limited. This conference call may contain forward-looking statements about the company, which are based on belief, opinions, and expectations of the company as on date of this call. The statements are not the guarantees of future performance and involve risks and uncertainties that are difficult to predict. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during this conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anubhav Rawat from Monarch Networth Capital Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Malika. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Monarch Networth Capital, I welcome you all to Q4 and FY21 conference call of FIAM Industries. We will start the call with initial comments about the results and future outlook of the company, and then we will open the floor for question and answers. So without much delay, I now hand over the call to Mr. J.K. Jain, CMD of the company. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to all. I welcome you all to the Q4 and full year FY21 earning call of your company. Last year has been a very challenging year for all of us personally and professionally. I would like to begin by wishing you and your families good health. Along with me on this call, I have Mr. Rahul Jain, Director, Mr. Rajesh Sharma, Director, Mr. O.P. Gupta, CFO, Mr. Arvind Chauhan, Company Secretary, and other members of finance team. Let me start with an overview of the industry and brief update on our financials. The detailed financial results will be highlighted by our CFO. Then we will start the session on questions and answers. During this COVID-19 pandemic, domestic two-wheeler industries in FY21 went through a tough time, and overall domestic industry declined by 13.2% from 17.4 million units to 15.1 million. Within the two-wheeler segment, scooter declined by 19.5%, motorcycle by 10.6%, and moped by 3.07%. Reflecting the above trend, the production volume of our key customers degrew Honda by 23.5%, TVS by 5.1%, Yamaha by 14.5%, and Suzuki by 24.9%. We were also significantly hit with the plant shutdown in Q1 FY21. However, we have been able to recover from Q2 onward, reflected in the strong Q4 numbers, which I am sure you would have seen in the result. For the full year FY21, our sales declined by 11.1%, which was marginally better than the overall trend of our OEM customers. In spite of this environment, we managed to grow our export and also some key customers like Yamaha during the year. Share of the automotive LED was 40% of our total automotive lighting in FY21. This has remained stable this year due to the pandemic, but we expect this to increase to 60% over the next 2-3 years. The other key areas of our focus is the EV market. We see a lot of opportunity in this segment. Over the last 1 year, we have worked extensively in this space. As you are aware, government has announced several incentives and new policy framework which would help EV to grow. A lot of potential as our products are key to all the We have been actively engaged with the leaders in this segment and are developing several products with them. We expect EV to be a significant driver of our growth over the next 2-3 years. Going forward, I remain cautious in my approach for the current financial year as we watch how the pandemic plays out. However, I do see medium to long term a very positive outlook for our industries. Now I hand over to our CFO, Mr. Gupta, and the team to update the detailed numbers.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone. I will present the Q4 numbers, after which I will cover the full year. The company registered highest quarterly sales of rupees 415 crore in Q4 of FY21 against rupees 319 crore in corresponding quarter of 1920, representing an increase of 30% over same period of FY20. The EBITDA was rupees 53.33 crore, translating into an EBITDA margin of 12.85% as against an EBITDA of rupees 37.17 crore. PAT of the company for Q4 of FY 2021 25.49 crore as compared to 22.98 crore in Q4 of FY 1920. The increase in PAT is driven by highest sales in Q4 coupled with cost-cutting measures undertaken by the company. Now, I will cover the performance for full financial year 2021. The company has been able to achieve net sales of rupees 1,207 crore during the financial year 2021 as against the sale of 1,366 crore during the financial year 1920. This represents a decline of 11.6% on yearly basis. The decline in sales is due to lockdown because of COVID-19 pandemic in Q1 of FY21. The company has been able to earn an EBITDA of rupees 130.60 crore, being 10.82% during FY 2021, as against an EBITDA of rupees 155.77 crore, being 11.4% during the FY 1920. The marginal fall in EBITDA was due to effect of lockdown because of COVID-19 pandemic in Q1 of FY21. PAT of the company for FY 2021 was rupees 47.12 crore as against 78.92 crore during FY 1920. The decline in PAT is because of lockdown due to COVID-19 pandemic and resultant lower sale for the year. Moreover, the PAT of FY 1920 included a reversal of deferred tax expense of rupees 14.52 crore on account of the company exercising the option of payment of lower income tax as per amended provisions. If the said effect of lower income tax is excluded from the PAT of FY 1920, then the net decline in the PAT on year-on-year basis will work out to rupees 17.28 crore only. During FY 2021, the company has made a capex investment of rupees 18.55 crore. Further, we are net zero debt company. I am pleased to inform you that the board has recommended a final dividend of rupees 16 per share for FY 2021. With this, I end the financial brief, and now the floor is open for question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Ashutosh Tiwari from Equirus Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Congrats on decent set of numbers. Firstly, on Yamaha, I think we have further seen improvement in revenue, probably contributed 15% of sales in Q4 FY21. So is it more driven by the faster adoption of LEDs by Yamaha, or this also includes significant amount coming from the deemed export from our side?
Yeah, of course. Here, Rajesh Sharma. The major portion of sales is, of course, because of the LED headlamps, which is being applied for the domestic market as well as for the export to Japan as well as other countries.
Okay, so this can increase further from here. And Yamaha is, the major chunk is lighting only, or there's some other products as well that supply to Yamaha?
No, we supply all the lighting assemblies.
No, so is it only lighting, or you have rear view mirrors and all these products also supplied to Yamaha?
These are all lightings, and there are mirrors, but those percentages are very, very less.
Okay. And as of now, you had told last time that you are ramping up supplies to more models of Yamaha. So can you provide some update to how many models of global Yamaha we supply as of now, and how it can increase going ahead?
As of now, 5 projects are already in mass production for the export model, and 2 products are there in India. Out of the 1 series model only, which is called MT15 series, wherein we develop Class C and Class D models of headlamp, which are mainly be considered as a sole distribution of these headlamps worldwide. So any of the new projects which are coming into portfolio of Yamaha, they are implementing the same headlamp module by changing the configuration of lighting source and being applied for the new vehicle development.
Okay, so you're saying that as of now it's applying for 5 projects, and 5 in globally and 2 in India, right? Is that correct?
Right. This is only of the module which is being exporting as well as for domestic market. Other than that, there are 4 models which are already in mass production for domestic market.
Okay, and can it increase further? The number of models can increase further, or we have already reached potential?
We are further working on 4 projects as of now. Will be introduced during next year and next to next year.
Okay. 4 new projects you are saying, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And this will, okay. So the revenue contribution from Yamaha can increase further from here.
Sure.
And then secondly, I think even I don't read it clearly, but is it others which has increased a lot, like the 10% of sales others in our sales in FY20 Q4 basically? Others has also increased if you look at revenue contribution to different OEMs. Is that driven by which particular OEM is doing better for us?
These all are a club of all other OEMs.
Because we have included few of our tractor market like Escorts Kubota. We are the exclusive supplier for that. So that is also comes under this others customers only.
Okay. And incrementally, I mean, in terms of the new development work that we probably are doing in the toolings and all, how do you see the share of LEDs in scooter and motorcycles separately? Is it that even motorcycles? So far we have seen more, apart from Yamaha, we have seen more trend of this LEDs in the scooters. So are you seeing that even in the motorcycle segment, in terms of your projects that are doing currently, the share of LED can increase in motorcycles as well?
Yes, definitely, because if we talk about Yamaha, there are only 2 models wherein a scooter is being introduced with LED, wherein other all segments are of motorcycle only. Similarly, if we talk about Suzuki almost 3 of their models like Gixxer, That is a highly sales volume of domestic, as we're having LED headlamps and the scooter is only one model which is having LED from our supply. So all other customers are of course be going to LED headlamps with the motorcycle as well as the scooters both.
Okay, so going ahead, the penetration, like you said, 2-3 years in LED contribution sales can go towards 60%.
Yeah, as Mr. Jain already talk about this, it will be of 60% or more or during next 2-3 years or 3 years or 4.
And Mr. Jain also talked about, a good amount of basically work with these EV two-wheeler OEMs. So can you name a few of the OEMs with which we are working currently in terms of work?
As of now, we are under NDA and we cannot disclose the name, but you will see very shortly in next few months. Once they introduce the model, we will definitely, we can say, but at the moment we are stopped by NDA.
Okay, I got it. But you mentioned Okinawa you already supplied to.
Yes. Yeah, it's a old.
Okinawa, we are the single
customer.
Okay. Any other OEM, like say, you also supplied for Ampere and all, that is not there as of now? Ampere is supplied.
Ampere is supplied by us, not the all components, but because some of the components we are buying from China, but there are a few products which we are supplying from our off-the-shelf portfolio.
And these EVs will have more of LED than halogen, right?
Of course, all the EVs customers to whom we are working as of now are with LED lamps only.
Okay. And last question. Sorry?
The main reason in LED, basically in EV LED, is the power. Because if they use the conventional lamp, then the power will reduce. So their mileage will affect. So it will be only LED only.
Okay, I got it. And what was the utilization level of our plants on an average in Q4?
At the moment, we are working on 65%.
Utilization level. You're talking about Q4 or full year, you're saying?
And we are talking about Q4.
So then there won't be any capex per se over next 2-3 years, major capex.
No. See,
this 65% is the whole year.
Whole year, okay. And Q4, how much it was?
Yeah. Q4 was more than 75%.
Okay. So I think from these plants will probably go towards around say 2,000 crore plus kind of revenue.
Yeah, we are estimating around 1,700 crores.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, in this rear view mirror sales, if I look at for the full year, there's a drop of only 2%. So have we gained more share in this business from some OEMs? Why the drop was very low in this segment, despite the two-wheeler drop that is here?
This is because of increase in the other products, lighting products.
No. I'm talking rear view mirrors. If you look at in the PPT.
No. Basically, we have not lost the share.
No. I'm not talking about losing share.
Yeah, I understood.
Yeah.
I understood your point. The rear view mirror is converting from conventional to little bit of high-end model motorcycle. If you see, those are all not only stem type, it is all die casting type. So the cost is of course be high on that area.
Okay.
And volumes are increasing by this way.
Okay, I got it. Okay, thanks a lot and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anubhav Mukherjee from Prescient Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Firstly, I want to congratulate the management on the very healthy dividend payout. It's one of the highest in the ancillary industry, and over the years, the dividend payout has been consistently quite good. So really appreciate that. And moving on to the question. Sir, can you tell us how has been the traction in Piaggio, because Piaggio was added as a customer, So how has been the traction there, and are we like exporting to the international models? How is it?
Yeah. So if you, first of all, thank you very much for the result, appreciated by you. And Piaggio, if we talk about SRS model, which is being recently introduced by Piaggio India, that is having LED headlamp with the complete LED headlamp module. With respect to the rear combi also is LED, and this is not only for the domestic market. We have already started exporting in last 4 months to Europe also.
So beyond that model, is there a possibility to like gain share in other models as well? Or?
Yes, we are further working on 2 models to get business for domestic as well as for export market.
Okay. And how large can the Piaggio opportunity be? Like, can it be meaningful? Like, yeah.
See, actually, volumes are not much with respect to the other customer. So, but of course, if we talk about the model mix with respect to the domestic and export, we can have a good strength of business with respect to the customer like Piaggio.
Get that. And sir, have you made any inroads into Hero? I think Hero was mentioned, like, or like hinted that we are trying to gain some enter into Hero, or like. So how is there any development there?
Yes, we are very closely working as of now with Hero to get some new business, because of we are entering to a business where it is a reserved train, where almost 3 or 4 players are there. But of course, as if we are number 1 player in the automobile, especially for the 2-wheeler, and we hope we will get some business during the coming months.
Okay. And so finally, will it be possible to share that are we working with Ola Electric?
We will, as of now, we cannot disclose because it is again in the EV sectors. So we have already signed some NDAs with all the EVs. We will definitely be disclosed very soon with all the OEMs.
So yeah, it is for all customers, you can understand.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Good. Thanks. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have a couple of questions. So one, on your growth part, what you have delivered for Q4 and what you have delivered for FY21. If you could just help us understand the bridge in terms of your growth vis-a-vis the industry growth, and where we gained and what. So let's say you said Yamaha is now 15% of the revenue, so we could understand that in Yamaha you have gained on the percentage of the revenue. So if you could give that bridge, would be very helpful for us to understand.
Basically, outlook for the current year is depend on the COVID-19 pandemic situation.
No, sir. I am asking for what happened in 19 and what happened in Q4, because even last year also you have outperformed the industry volume. So we just wanted to understand which of the accounts you would have outperformed.
Overall, in Q4, every customer has contributed for the increase, and majorly Yamaha account is grown exponentially.
Yamaha. Not only Yamaha, I will just give you a little more brief because if you talk about the export market, export either in Europe or in any of the Asian countries, their market is always growing up during the month of July, August, and September. And these all months material they buy 3 months before because the transit time and all. So Q4 was the time when we exported much of materials to Yamaha as well as to Suzuki also. And same month we started supplying to Harley-Davidson also for their Europe as well as for US market as well as Thailand market. And some of the export to our ASPOC Austria. So joined together, all this figure has given us this jump to Q4.
And so as a these 2 accounts would have gained how much in your revenue mix versus last year?
Can you just...
Yeah, this Yama is now around 13 to 14%.
Versus?
It was earlier 11%.
And how about Suzuki?
Suzuki is just
8%. 8%?
Yeah.
Versus?
Versus 7.75%.
Okay, so it's basically Yamaha. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, on the other observation, Honda had a particularly tough year last year vis-a-vis others. So how do you see this account in the forthcoming couple of years? Because it had a product cycle challenges earlier and market challenges earlier than others. So if you could help us understand it.
Yeah, of course, because of the COVID, new business development have already been postponed for all the customers. And Honda is one of them, out of them, because BS6 is being introduced all pre-COVID only. And those models are not yet being launched properly in the market, and 2 times the COVID has dipped our overall sales. So we are expecting very good market during coming months. Of course, first quarter is again be low during this year also, but we are expecting much more better results during coming months.
Okay. And just at a slightly longer term target, what should be the CM Industries revenue growth target over the industry volume growth or the industry growth? Do you have any internal bench targets where we will grow X times more or X percentage more than the industry, if you could help us understand there? And which from halogen to LED moves to 60%. Is the percentage that top line growth over the next 3 years or next 2 years, whatever you're comfortable with?
It's basically, if you see our graph, apart from the COVID, we have been doing 20% plus. So that is what we are always thinking. Our thinking is like that, and things are very clear. But this pandemic, COVID pandemic, we can't say how long it is going to be and how it is going to behave. But the trend is very, very promising, definitely promising.
And would you be able to retain or expand your market share, considering the two-wheeler space itself is going through big changes?
As we told earlier, we have been working very constantly with the EV industries, and the further growth will be towards the EV industries, and we are very much attached. And we are very much hopeful that we will have a very good market share in future also.
Does the business per bike or business per vehicle also increase when you move from conventional to EV?
Yes, definitely. As we spoke earlier, it is almost 1.8 to 2 times.
For the same product?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any reason why it is 1.8 to 2 times for the same product?
Because of the LED. Because LED versus conventional, we are talking about.
Now, if it is LED versus LED, is it the same?
No, depend on the model. Because if it is 100 cc, 150 cc, it will be a different thing. And then 200 cc, it will be different. So all capacity depend on the customer choice. Basically depend on the OEMs, maybe.
Okay.
Because the more higher vehicle will be there, then the yield will be better and usage will be better.
Okay. And we are now operating our asset at about 75% utilization, and you mentioned the kind of utilization, peak utilization possible. So these margins which are at about
Q4.
Q4, yes, sir, Q4. So what my question was, when we look at the margin of Q4 and let's say Q3 at about 12%, Do you think incrementally they are sustainable post the expansion, or do you have an observation otherwise?
No, basically, as told earlier, the many models, many projects are, almost ready. But due to the COVID, the introduction has not taken place. So in future, many products are ready, and it is about to launch by the customer. But due to the COVID, this is not being introduced. So we hope that the trend is very good.
And lastly, what is the progress on your JV, the ISAN JV?
Yeah.
See, ISAN JV, last year they did 100 crore turnover.
And profit?
Profit, no, this year full year loss is 1.5 crore. But in last quarter they reported profit.
And what is the expected progress there?
This year it's around 165 crore.
Okay. But we had some 400 crore odd target in ISAN. So where are we on that particular journey?
No, this was the peak revenue we estimated around 250 crore with current investment. When the next phase will come, then only this 400 or 500, whatever that is.
And what would be the margin of the 265 crore? Next month.
So this is a JV company. This is JV company, so this is first year only. We are already informed that. Yeah.
Due to the COVID, it could not perform.
No problem. And lastly, sir, what is the capital expenditure plan for 22 and 23?
We are planning 35 crores. But as per the customer demand, we are ready to do more.
This 35 crore also takes care of the growth capex, and what capacity addition?
No. Basically, it is 20 crores is towards maintenance and 15 crores is for the new line, for the new project. It is not for capacity enhancement, as we are not nearing. We are at the moment almost 55%, except Q4.
Yeah.
So this 15 crore of new line, what affect?
For new projects, we have to put the new assembly lines and other things.
Yeah. So you mentioned, sir, 35 crore as 15 crore of maintenance and 15 crore of new line. So that 15 crore is basically growth capex. So that comes at what asset turn?
Yes.
Our asset turn in total is 1:2 approximately.
So this 15 crore of new line will add you about 30 crore of business. That's how it is?
30 crores.
Yeah.
Okay. And incrementally, would you maintain the payouts that you have reported in the current gone by year? Or why do we have...
It all depends on the situation. Means we try to maintain 20 to 25% of the cash profits.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Priyadarshi Srivastava from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Congratulations on good set of numbers in this challenging time, sir. So just wanted to know what component of your raw material you are still importing from China and Korea, and what we are doing to localize that, and how much is it really possible to localize that?
These are all electronic components, and localization, of course, can be only possible to do the PCBA assembly, which we are already doing. But semiconductors are all import from other countries only.
But how much is the current component or percentage terms components coming from China and Korea, sir?
It is around 10% of total import.
Okay. So this is as of now it will remain somewhere around that level?
Yes.
Sir, I also wanted to understand, as you have been very positive on the outlook and going ahead. So could we expect that margins to go higher than 15% or above in the coming quarters?
No. Basically, we don't know during this COVID time what is going to be the thing. Definitely, if the more sales are there, the margins will be better.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Participants, to ask a question, you may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Ankita Gupta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening. So first of all, congrats on the good results. I just wanted to know what's your growth guidance for the year 2022 and 2023, and where will the incremental growth come from?
As already Chairman has informed, it all depends on EVs. We are working closely. So next growth driver will be the EVs. But it all depends on how the COVID happens and all these things. So it is we are working with all the OEM customers to increase the share.
I think from our side, what we do is to keep a diversified product line with a number of customers. As you've seen, sometimes in the past, one customer has come while the other is impacted. So our strategy has always been diversification of products and customers. So that's all we could do. But other than that, we have to see how pandemic plays out over the next quarter. But overall, I think medium term outlook we can give, which is positive.
One more question, sir. Since the dividend payout has been great, can we expect this to continue over the next year?
Yes, it all depends. It is what we are saying, that we will try to maintain 20 to 25% of the cash profits.
Thank you. And just one last question. One of your peers mentioned that NTORQ is with them. Can you throw some light on which models we have lost and gained in for the year 2021?
Can you repeat? This is NTORQ you are talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about NTORQ. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this NTORQ, we are supplying all components. Our tail lamp is 60%, and in winker we are 100%, front winker. Here we are 60%. Number plate also we are supplying, it is our share is 60%. The reflection factor round we are 100%, and rectangle we are 60%. Mirror we are 70%. So we are supplying all products in NTORQ.
Headlamp.
Headlamp is reduced. This is around 10%.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Keep up the. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Piyush Sharma, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Good afternoon. Just wanted to get your thoughts on the headwinds on account of chip shortage across the supply chain. So both from your sourcing perspective and also obviously from OEM's perspective. What are you seeing out there?
See, it is, of course, worldwide there is a shortage, but how to manage is the most important, because we are taking the forecast from our customers for not only 1 year, even though we have requested asking them for 2 years also, and we are placing our forecast and orders to our suppliers accordingly. And we are keeping almost 9 months orders, confirm orders to our supplier, and our inventory is being increased by 1 month to 2 months or some 3 months also. So somehow we are managing as of now very well, and we have as such not faced any shortage of semiconductors.
And your discussion with parts procurement guys at OEMs,
what are they telling you? Do they see this bottleneck kind of moderating going into 22, or what are you saying?
This is how we have to, means everybody is aware of the shortage. So it is this is how we have to maintain our inventory level and keep the sourcing very strong, because this phenomena of shortage of semiconductor is known to everybody.
Apart from this, like there are suppliers, like we know there are 3 or 4 companies are having big shortage worldwide, but there are options available. So whenever we are coming for the new projects, we will be going through a new product launch range wherein this shortage will not be faced during next development time. So by which way we are managing our show very well.
Okay. And quickly, if I can sweep one through, so going into pandemic, the Japanese big 3, I would say, most of us 5 years or even a decade, the whole trend of centralized procurement was very, very visible. Then comes the pandemic, of course, and all of a sudden we've got one more angle to deal with, which is how to minimize focus on China. We can argue all day whether it makes sense or not, but so when we look at the benefits that you've had in terms of incremental procurement from the likes of Yamaha, is it more coming to you because of accelerated central procurement by Yamaha, or you think at least part of it could be attributed to this China plus one strategy?
No, it is there is no impact of China. It is only the product. It is totally be depend on the QC DDM of the supplier, right? And we started one product with Yamaha Japan, and that was well accepted, and we perform our quality level, cost level, management level to give them confidence, and based on that only they started giving this business worldwide to us.
Okay. Anecdotally, are you having more discussions with the procurement guys in Japan than you're doing with the local counterparts here in India versus what you were seeing 3-4 years ago, or it's largely the same?
It is totally a mix, because the R&D is maybe controlled from India as well as from Japan. But of course, purchasing is from domestic only, because we are exporting through Yamaha. So all discussions are with Yamaha India.
Okay. Got it. And again, just a very quick follow-up on that. Given discussions within India, are you still discussing within the same structure, or are you seeing new strategic business units come up that are more focused on centralized procurement, and your discussions are happening with them as well? Or is the same?
This is ongoing. This is ongoing. Every customer is now centralizing, and of course they are de-risking, and they are mainly we depend on the Indian market to have a more and more export from India.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. Participants, to ask a question, you may press 1 now. The next question is from the line of Ashish Rathi from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
So, on the product launches side, how many products are launched in FY21? FY21.
We have launched, if we'll talk about the customer side, it is being 4 complete model is being launched by customers, domestic as well as 2 for export also. So there are 6 product overall models is being launched.
4 domestic and 2 exports. And what is the visibility on launches in FY22?
Of course, it is ongoing. We will be thinking plus what we did in last year.
Okay. Sir, on a broader guidance, perspective? You have indicated like you could launch 50 odd products in the next 4 to 5 years. Is that realistic number? And what kind of revenue can we sort of estimate from these? Broad indication.
We had already disclosed, like we are expecting another 3 times 250 crores of business that to be coming out with the 30 plus projects which are under development right now with the different customers.
Okay. And so what could we expect to be the sales sort of mix for domestic versus exports in these in this 250 crores kind of a number what you indicated?
It is totally be dependent on the customers because every customer is thinking to have an increase of 20% on a year on year. But totally be dependent on the model mix which is being accepted by the customer. So we hope one product will be, if not run properly, another product will be. So overall volume will be, of course, considered by customer also as well as from our side.
And moreover, you see, when they launch the vehicle, then only we come to whether it is for they are going for export or it is for local. So initially they don't disclose for it, the same.
At a company level, how different are our margins between exports and domestic? What are the margins for exports and domestic?
Margins are same because customer is same. They will not give money for export.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the replacement sales in FY21?
Replacement sales.
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, replacement market sales do you have?
79 crores.
And this number was how much, sir, last year, FY20?
It is same.
Right.
Replacement, yeah, it is flat.
It's been flat at 79 crore last year as well as this year.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Priyadarshi Srivastava from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir, again. Sir, just wanted to have an update on your entry on the four-wheeler segment, sir.
Basically, as we told earlier, we are a purely two-wheeler company, and some of the models we are doing for commercial vehicles as well as for tractors. But for coming into the four-wheelers, we are trying, and we're hopeful that another 3 to 4 years time we should be able to enter into the four-wheeler segment, especially in the car segment.
Okay. Thank you, sir, and all the best, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We would like to remind participants that you may press star 1 to ask a question. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you. I believe that we have been able to reply all your queries adequately. I would like to thank everyone for sparing your valuable time and participating in the phone call. Please stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of FIAM Industries and Monarch Networth Capital Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.